Christmas, just like the ones I used to know.
Hello world, this is Miss Kitty Reed. Today on our Christmas in July special on Amish Book Club, we will be discussing Her Amish Christmas Gift by Rebecca Kertz. Let me know what you thought of this book in the comments. My assistant today is Mandy. She is a very special girl that was owned by my Aunt Monica. Mandy is from the Seymour Mann Connoisseurs Collection. Her Amish Christmas Gift was published in 2018 by Harlequin's love-inspired line of Christian romance. It is the fourth in the Women of Lancaster County series. The series does not have to be read in order. Another book I have discussed on Amish Book Club, Her Forgiving Amish Heart, is also in this series. The female protagonist is 18-year-old Charlie Stoltzfus. She has a reputation for being a tomboy troublemaker, but she has matured. Charlie wants to become the teacher at the Amish school. The male protagonist is Nathaniel Peachy. Nate helps farm his parents' land with his brother Jacob. The book begins with Charlie scraping her knee while playing baseball. Nate helps her clean up and even sees her knees. Although Nate has feelings for Charlie, he becomes determined to ignore it. Nate's first girlfriend, Emma, died in a car accident with her English friends. Nate thinks Charlie's fun-loving nature will similarly lead to her demise and wants to find her a husband who will protect her. Nate's family takes a trip to visit relatives, leaving Nate and Jacob to tend the farm. Jacob falls off the haymower and hurts his foot. Charlie sees this while driving by and stops to help. While Nate takes Jacob to a doctor, Charlie continues to mow hay. Later, Nate screams at Charlie for doing such a dangerous task alone. Charlie agrees to stay with Jacob while Nate works. This begins a series of recurring plot elements. These include Nate's internal conflict over Charlie, Nate acting hot and cold toward Charlie, Charlie misinterpreting Nate's signals as hatred, and Charlie refusing to come and watch Jacob over these incidents, although she always eventually returns. Throughout all this, Charlie dreams of teaching. She talks with the bishop about the job, but he does not respond favorably. Charlie confides in Nate, telling him not to mention her concerns to his father, who is a deacon. Nate instead talks with the bishop in support of Charlie. Charlie's family throws her a surprise 19th birthday party. Nate gives her a hand-carved horse. Charlie is very touched by such a heartfelt gift depicting her favorite animal. The bishop visits to tell Charlie she has gotten the teaching job. She sees Nate while driving and stops to share the good news. However, Nate is rude and she does not disclose. Later, Charlie rides a horse through the fields to release her confusing feelings about Nate. She is thrown off and the horse runs away. Nate happens to be nearby and helps her search for the horse. He tells Charlie that he would like to court her, but there are reasons why he shouldn't. He does not reveal what those reasons are. Charlie becomes determined to show Nate that they belong together. On the first day of Charlie's teaching job, Nate stops by the schoolhouse to peek in the window and watch her. Charlie sees him and begrudgingly lets him inside to warm up. Charlie is happy to see that Nate is good with children. Due to a recent school cancellation, the church elders decide to hold school on Christmas Eve. Nate picks up Charlie and takes her to school. At the end of the day, no one comes to pick up Charlie until Nate stops by the school to make sure all the children got home. When they reach her house, she invites him in for hot chocolate. On Christmas Day, Nate takes Charlie to watch horses frolic in a field. Charlie and Nate confess their love and decide to court. Nate's family, who have returned from their trip, are supposed to come to Charlie's family's house for supper on second Christmas. This is the day after Christmas when the Amish visit one another. When they don't show up, Charlie goes to their house and finds that Nate's stepmother is in labor. As the only woman around, Charlie helps deliver the baby. When talking to Nate's stepmother, Charlie learns that Nate talked to the bishop in favor of her getting the teaching job. She is hurt that he disrespected her wishes and believes she did not get the job on her own merits. Charlie leaves soon after the midwife arrives. Later, Nate's father comes over to thank Charlie. He tells her that the church elders had decided to hire her as the teacher before he left on his trip, meaning that Nate's talk with the bishop did not affect the outcome. Then Nate comes to Charlie. He and Charlie resolve the issue around the teaching position. Nate declares his desire to marry Charlie and has already gotten permission from her father and the church elders. Charlie happily agrees, although they must wait till next year's wedding season. Nate gives Charlie a carved horse and foal for Christmas. The book ends with an epilogue set 2 years later. It is Christmas Day, and Charlie has just given birth to their first child. Nate and Charlie bask in the love of each other and their new child. The end. The big problem with this book is Nate. He doesn't have a likable personality. He ignores Charlie, makes rude comments to her, accuses her of being irresponsible without evidence, and grabbed her by the shoulders and shook her when he was upset that she mowed hay alone. Nate is hot and cold with Charlie and can turn from flirty to standoffish at the drop of a hat. This behavior is supposed to be due to the death of Emma, and it is later revealed that Nate was the first person to see she was dead. So we are meant to empathize with him through all of this behavior rather than dislike him as I do. But Emma's death is never consistently used to explain Nate's behavior, and is only one reason given for his actions. So we have Emma's death and Nate's guilt over not protecting her and not wanting to get hurt again. But Nate also wants a more responsible girl than Charlie, and he also thinks Charlie needs a man who can rein her in. Nate is conflicted over his own feelings and is worried when he believes Charlie is interested in other men. So Emma's death is not the only given reason for how Nate acts toward Charlie. Then all of a sudden, with about 100 pages left in the book, Nate becomes madly in love with Charlie, and all of this goes away. Yes, the book gets very cute, but this does not count as character development. Let's face it, Nate does not deserve Charlie. He is one of the worst male protagonists I've read in Amish romance. I don't understand why Charlie was paired with Nate instead of his brother Jacob. It would have made sense for them to be the couple, because Charlie is spending all day taking care of Jacob while talking and playing games. They have plenty of time to bond while alone. The book was perfectly set up for love to blossom, but not for the couple that got together in the end. Another thing that bothered me was that Charlie has this reputation as an irresponsible troublemaker, but I'm not sure why. Charlie never makes any particularly bad choices, her marriage to Nate notwithstanding. I don't know what Nate has to complain about with Charlie, especially because she was a nanny for his siblings and cared for his brother. There are references to Charlie getting into trouble as a child, but we never get any specific incident even mentioned in passing. This is a case of the author telling us rather than showing us. Charlie was a delightful character. I liked her fun-loving personality and how she never backed away from a challenge. She had realistic reactions and wasn't always perfect. Readers will be supporting Charlie through every page. Although Nate and Charlie have confusion and conflict throughout most of the book, about 100 pages to the end, things take a romantic turn. This book gets as sweet as cotton candy ice cream with sprinkles. If you're willing to wait for the payoff, you'll get a great romance at the end. A little note, the Christmas theme is not strong throughout this book. It only appears at the end. I know some people like to be hit over the head with Christmas, and this is not that kind of book, so it's really up to your own preferences. I will give this book a 4 out of 7. I like Charlie and the book's ending, and dislike Nate and his hot and cold drama. Not top tier Amish romance, but it's Christmas themed. Our second and final book of Christmas in July will be A Season of Secrets by Elizabeth Adams. Please check with your local library to see if they have it on the shelves. If not, I'm sure they will be happy to get it for you through interlibrary loan. Mandy would also like to remind all of you out there on the information superhighway to share your opinions in the comments. This has been Christmas in July on Amish Book Club with Miss Kitty Reed. This is Miss Kitty Reed and Mandy signing off. See you later in Amish Book Club.